KAC 2. So we create this video to analyze the 25 stories included in our scrapbook. But before that, let me analyze the differences between news and feature writing first. There are 8 differences that we had found. Number 1 is the topic. News used to refer to topics that are usually timely, important, and consequential, such as politics, international affairs, and crime. As example, this news was timely and it was a crime issue. As we can see, the incident happened at about 2:30 p.m. on 1st November, and the news published at 10:53 p.m. on the same day. Conversely, feature writing topics include lifestyle news, entertainment news, and sport news. For example, the topic of this feature story, berenang sejam sehari, rahsia Pak Sahak kekal stamina, tell us about lifestyle of Pak Sahak maintaining his stamina even when he has reached 70 years of age. Second is the deadline. The news has a deadline as it is important to indicate the city the journalist was in when he or she reported the news. The deadline Putrajaya was stated in this news as the press conference was held in Putrajaya. The feature writing doesn't have a deadline because it is not important as it did not deal with breaking news events. As we can see in this feature story, the deadline was not mentioned. Third is subheading. News doesn't have subheading, but in feature writing often contains subheading. As we can see, factoring the disruptions is the subheading in the feature story with the headline Smart Parenting, Parenting During the Pandemic. Next, number 4 is style. The writing styles of a news story and a feature are different. In news stories, it uses simple and effective words to deliver facts quickly, and they go straight to the point. News story usually contain 8 to 11 paragraphs with average between 300 to 500 words. Usually, each paragraph only one sentence. As example, in this news story, it has 10 paragraphs which contains 260 words. Feature writing is longer piece of writing. They are often more wordy and they have a creative structure. For example, this feature story contains question and answer to attract the reader, and a feature story can be more than 2,000 words.
Okay, next is the 5th point that show the differences between news and feature writing is the lead. The news leads must have the highlight of events, as we call it angle. It uses 5W1H questions to get the whole leads. The length of the list usually between 20x to 30 words. On the other hand, the feature writing list doesn't have the importance of information or the highlight of the events. Then the 6th point, the inverted pyramid style. News use the inverted pyramid style to get the most important information in the story up to the top and put the least important information at the end. While feature writing didn't use the inverted pyramid style, so the important informations might be at the top or at the middle or at the end. 7th point is news sources. The news must have news sources to get the detail of the informations and the quotations. So the journalist must not use their self-opinion to complete their story. While feature writing usually written by the journalist's self-opinion, and it didn't have to need new sources to complete their story. The last point is the ending of the story. The news ending doesn't have the exactly form. It didn't have to end it with the conclusions. It might use the news sources direct quotations or indirect quotations, while feature writing usually end with the conclusions.
Inshallah, I will tell about the headline. What mean of the headline? Headline is a heading at the top of an article or page in a newspaper or magazine. The headlines are the most important items of news in a newspaper or a broadcast news bulletin. Okay, usually in the news they have their the writer have their own types of headline that they have used in their news. For the example, in the local Malay news, local English news, and the last international English news. The headline for the local Malay news, such as the headline for the local Malay news: a 6-year-old child drowned falling on a water rope. And the headline for the local English news: a Singaporean factory director fined 10,000, jail 2 weeks for the bribing immigration officer. And the last for the international English news, the headline for the international English news: Prince Azim of Brunei, Sultan of Brunei's son, dies aged 38 years old. In these three news, they have used same types of headline, that is inverted pyramid headline. The advantage of the inverted pyramid headline is that concentrates on presenting pertinent facts first. The headline is great. The headline is great from informative. The headline is great from informative facts of the story, giving the readers the most important points quickly. And in my opinion, the best headline that we as a writer use in writing newspaper is the inverted pyramid headline. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, now I will explain to you about lead. What is lead? Lead is the lead or the first sentence of the story, is arguably the most important part of the article. Based on the content of that first sentence, a reader will either look deeper into the story or move on to the next one. There are similarities and differences between international English news, local English news, and local Malay news in terms of lead. So I analyze most international English news, local English news, and local Malay news use who as dominant fact to start a lead. But I realize two differences between international English news and local English and Malay news. First is the lead in local English and Malay news have 2 to 4 lines. That means it's quite short, which is a good lead. But international English news have more than 4 lines in the lead. In my opinion, a good lead should short, precise, and compact. Although it's short, it has full of main point and angle that could catch the reader's attention. Second, most local English and Malay news use summary lead for the type of lead. The summary lead contains most of the 5 W's and 1 H in one sentence. But international English news use other type of lead, such as zinger and question lead. I think summary lead is the best type of lead because the lead will answer all the important points in the news in one sentence. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so now we move to to the next part in writing news, which is the body. The body is quite important than the tail, or known as conclusion, but is less important than lead. In the body writing, we also put an additional facts and information and also quotes. It also include an observation and interviewing and also an attribution. Based on our research, we can conclude that most of news using interviewing in their body part of news. They also put an direct quotation or indirect quotation. It also has an attribution such as information, the data or statistic, and others. Such an example: Malay local news, English local news, and international local news.
Now we will move the last step in the inverted pyramid. What you already know, the inverted pyramid is divided in 3 parts, and the last step in less important, or it is called the tail or tail least minor point. The meaning of less important is other general info or background info. The tail is extra info that interesting and related items for news, and also may include extra context in blogs, columns, and other editorial. This is the assessment of journalists. So I will show some example of less important in news writing that I have chosen. First, in local Malay news of Berita Harian Online, the headline of the news is Pemandu Rentung SUV hangus terbakar. And we go through the less important. Hashim berkata, siasatan dijalankan untuk menentukan sama ada kebakaran itu akibat kemalangan atau ada unsur jaya. The journalist ended the news with indirect quotation to further information about this case. Next, the second example in local English news. The news is from the Star, and the headline from this news is Teenager girl found slashed to death with left arm, severed in Kuala Berang, and the tale that the journalist ended with indirect quotation of family situation. The victim's mother, aged 55, was not injured, bernama. So we can see that bernama Said. As you know, at the time of the incident, Siti Noorsuria was taking care of her mother, who has bedridden due to brain cancer. And lastly, from International English News, from CNA, the headline from the news is Cataract Protests in US cities, but no white undressing. Some people would like to cause mayhem and trouble. Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser said early in the day she said she had never seen so many businesses being boarded up. That all saddens me. This is the less important from the news, and the journalist ended with direct quotation of disappointment about the incident. That's all from us. Thank you for watching.